Hi there, I have a different layout. It's actually technically two layouts today. And I'm using that album, the Dear Lizzy album, and I'm gonna start with doing this chipboard page. This album is actually going to be titled My Favorites and ultimately will go on my coffee table, and it's gonna have all of my, well, not all of them, but it'll be all favorite pictures, just random. And this picture is one that we just recently had taken, but I really love it. I think the last layout I posted on YouTube had that picture in it too, but that one's going in a different album. This right now I am basically decoupaging. I'm using Mod Podge on the backs of torn pieces of, this is actually a book that was falling apart, and I pulled out some little girl pictures, and the title, it's a compilation book of a bunch of stories, and the title of this particular story was oh my goodness, I can't read it here as I'm going, and I don't remember now, but it's perfect for my daughter. It is A Ballad of a Brave Maiden, and that is just, or maid. A Ballad of a Brave Maid, which, that's my girl. She's super brave, and she's very, very girly, yet a tomboy. She's a nice mixture, actually. So I'm just tearing different pieces, and I'm finding ones that are a little meaningful to put there. I cover everything up quite a bit, but you could still see in the end result, you can still see the pictures and some of the words. There, I'm just cutting off the edge. I cut off all the edge, and then I kind of sort of re-glued parts where it was coming up, and I don't mind if I had to tear it a little bit because I know I'm going to be painting. And now I'm going to do like a whitewash of, that's just white craft paint. And I'm working on a craft mat today because I knew I was going to be making a mess. So I'm going to use all kinds of different materials for this. A lot of different craft paint. And now I'm doing a wash of that, a little bit of a turquoise, and then this dark blue. And I just kind of fiddle with it, rub it with my finger, play around with it to make it look the way I want it to, because I don't want to cover everything too much, and that blue is real dark. I love that paint though. So I actually made a chipboard album for my mom a long time ago, several years ago, and really enjoyed making that album. That one I made from scratch. I didn't have like this Dear Lizzy one. I didn't have anything like that. I just made it from scratch, and I really enjoyed it, making that. And so this was fun to dig into that type of work again. Little fun different thing, and plus I had so much time. Here I'm showing you, I'm using matte gel, some it's Liquitex gel medium, I think it's called. Here it is. Yeah, gel medium, and it's thicker than gesso, and it really does have quite a different feeling to it. It's interesting. So I'm trying to figure out, what do I want to do here? I know that I want to use the gesso, and I know I want to use the stencil, but did I want to do it white? Do I want to do it colored? And I go with that pink because I want to throw a little bit of pink into this layout since it's for my girl. She does love pink, so I go ahead and I really like, this is the first time I've ever used the gel medium, and because I just recently bought it and I love it. It is definitely thicker than the gesso I have, although you can buy gesso thicker than the one I have, I think. But I just like the consistency of that gel medium. It is very much like gel. And so it's neat stuff. So I let that dry, turned off my camera, and then now I'm spraying with Passport. I accidentally sprayed that a little too much, but that's alright. And I'm using, that is drywall tape, and I'm just temporarily taping it over and then spraying that Passport. Mr. Huey's, I was having all kinds of trouble when I was using it, but I did get it to work, and it was the perfect color. So I think I need to get another one of those. I think I'm going to run out, as it tends to be the one I use the most. And then I did some sprinkling of ink, and I was just too impatient, so I blotted all that ink with a towel to get it to dry. And here I'm using that's just one of those chalk inks in black. I went around the edges, and now I punched the holes of where it's going to go in the folder because I needed the guides from the back, and then you'll see when I do the back page I then have to use the guides again, so it's best to do that instead of trying to figure out where did those holes go, covering both sides and then trying to figure out. Okay, now I'm using, these are 6x6 pads that I had in my stash, crepe paper, both of them. One of them's from the 14, and then also the Storyteller collections. And I'm going to use those papers to just make a layering mat. And now I'm trying to find blue, a dark blue, to mat this picture, and I can't find one anywhere. Dark blue, it's really a difficult color to find, it seems to me, scrapbooking, and I love it. I like to use it for boy and girl, so I need to get a hold of some more cardstock that's a nice dark blue. Now I'm going with a lighter blue, and I'm spraying it with Passport because I know that'll go because I use that ink, and I can't find a blue cardstock, and I'm glad I couldn't, because in this instance I love it. I love the sprayed matte look. It just came out perfect. And here's where I decide I wanted the pink on top of the blue. Since I had already cut it, I couldn't do that, and so I pulled out a different page of that blue floral and recut a new paper, which it's alright, I'm not going to waste it. It will be used on the back, on the flip side of this page here that I'm working on. And now I'm liking the way those are coming together matted, and so I go ahead and glue them, or use my ATG. Oh, and then I realized before I put anything on the front, I need to go ahead and at least stick down some on the back, just to make it easier for me when I go to do the back. And so here's where I decide, oh, I'm going to just use strips, because the back is going to be my journaling for the front page, and so I'm going to use this as my own background that I've created for placing my journaling. And it would have been a lot easier if I could have just done that with one solid sheet of paper, but I really wanted to use those same colors those same papers, excuse me, that are on the front to kind of tie this back page with that front page, because that's a little bit strange to actually do your journaling on the back side. So somebody's gonna, when you're looking through, you flip it and then you see, oh, there's journaling. So it's a little bit different way to do it, and so I needed to make sure that I at least tied it together somehow. And now I'm gonna cut all those. Oh, I'm not quite done, that's right. This last little bit was difficult because I ended up with just this teeny area. I've never done this, made like a pattern like this and been using Mod Podge, so that made it a little difficult because everything has to match up perfectly, but it was fun. I love using Mod Podge. So now I got that, and now I believe I'm going to go ahead and do a whitewash over that. Yeah, so here's good old craft paint again, and I need all those colors to be a little more muted and the whole tone down a little bit to match with the overall tone of the page on the flip side. And now here I have this dauber that I got in a Scraptastic kit. That is Tim Holtz Distress Paint and chipped sapphire. I use that around the edges. So now I'm working on my title. These little beads I found at Michael's, and actually I saw them on a haul video here on YouTube, and then I ran to Michael's because I just love that idea, and I found the last package that they had at my Michael's. I'm sure that was just because they were low. I'm sure they'll get more of them, but love, love, love those. So I just was sanding the back side to make, because I knew I was going to use hot glue to glue them down, and so to give them a little bit more of a grip, I used a sanding tool to sand the backs of them, as well as that little heart. I've found so many times when I glue down little plasticky things like that, when I go back through the album, they're floating on the page because they don't glue properly. So I'm trying to figure out ways to get them to glue better, and I really do think the sanding will be the answer. I'm crossing my fingers. So now I'm going to use these heart doilies, and I am going to spray them here in a second. Those beads, back to those beads, they are by Bead Landing, and they're just called crafting beads, plastic word beads. And again, I got them at Michael's, and they come, it doesn't say how many pieces, but I think they were not totally cheap. Sorry, I'm losing my track here. I just used Heidi Swap white and tinsel to spray those, just to take the edge off sort of the white. I still wanted them to be white, but not so bright white. So I'm going to go ahead and glue those down. I was a little concerned about that feeling very Valentine-y because they're hearts and they're doilies, but in the end I really love it because it's very feminine, and I do add washi tape, which breaks up the hearts as well. So back to those beads, it does not say how many are in there, but it's a lot. It says 5 ounces, which I think it seems a funny way to measure beads, but so now I'm doing some washi tape. I'm going to do 3 different washi tapes on each heart, and that helps sort of ground my title and then tie the 2 clusters of each heart together. So I'm just cutting off the edge of that doily. This, because I did 2 pages, this did take me quite a long time. I think it was like 2.5 hours of videoing. So this was a long scrapbook page, a long project, but this book is going to be real important to me, so I really wanted to take my time. I always take a ton of time when I scrapbook, period. My husband can't believe how long I take. There I used the glue gun too soon. It wasn't hot enough, so it didn't glue that down good enough, and now it's piping hot. This is my new glue gun. I just got this at Walmart and I love it. It's got a more narrow point to it than my old one. And now I'm going to put some little bling. These are actually little hearts. I believe I got these at Hobby Lobby. It's got hearts and triangles and squares and circles. And did I say stars? Because it has stars. But I'm using the little hearts here and just sporadically. And now I'm going to finish up the back page that is going to have my journaling. And now I'm painting. This is just plain old cardstock that I got at Walmart in a big pack, 8x10, and I'm just painting away just randomly because this is actually going to go underneath my journaling, which I typed out on vellum. I didn't type it, I printed it. I typed it in Word on my computer and then I printed it out. With the thought of typing, I did actually type with a typewriter when I was in high school. And then I just used passport ink again on there, and then a little bit of the Heidi Swapp white again. And this is gonna go, oh here I'm real quickly wiping down my craft mat, and I wiped it down, and then I squirt it with a little bit of just plain old water and soak it for a couple seconds and then re-wipe, and everything seems to come up that way. Those mats are amazing. Now I'm going to tear this vellum. That mat, by the way, the craft mat I'm using is a Cool Tack, K-O-O-L, Cool Tack. And then I'm going to cut out a piece of the painted paper, and then I'm going to layer my journaling again over it. And I go through a lot of effort to get this paper, and it really barely shows, so it was kind of silly, a little bit of extra effort for not a whole lot of bang, but that's alright, it happens sometimes. I love to paint, love to paint paper, love to paint wood things, love to paint walls in my living room, in my bathroom, anywhere. I love painting. People think I'm crazy for that, but I just love it. So I don't mind that I did this almost for naught. And now those little hearts are Heidi Swapp. I got those at Michael's, and I'm using my little tiny attacher to attach them. And then that little paper clip with the heart there at the bottom, that came in the Oh Dear Me kit this month, so that would be February's Oh Dear Me kit. And I'm gonna glue that down using good old Aleene's tacky glue, and I really had to hold it to get it to stay. So, and there you have it, all set, and I'm showing you it in the book, and then I'll give you some close-ups. So I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and have a wonderful day.